Welcome to Connect with BMC Helix webinar series. Today's webinar topic is DWP 22.1 release and 22.x roadmap session. This will be with Carl-Anders Folk. Please note, due to the number of participants, you will be muted. However, during this webinar, we will have time for live Q&A questions, so please use the Q&A section. Over to you, Kath.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see so many interested in what we're doing in the DWP area. I've been working here at BMC for quite some years, so many know me, and my name is fully Carl-Anders Falk, but many people call me CAF, which is my initial. So you can address me by CAF or by Carl. It's up to you how you want to do that. My job right now is very much focused on DWP, and I work together with a team of other product managers, but mainly it's Deepak Rudra that will help me to respond to questions and so on when he is available here on the seminar. I cover mostly EMEA and the customers here in EMEA, and Deepak is covering US and the customers in US. The other side of the world, we split between us because some of the time zones fit me better and the other time zones fit Deepak a little bit better. So our job is, of course, to pick up things you want to see as customers in DWP, and then we have a backlog of features that we think you want us to implement, and then we work with our developers to really deliver these new features. We currently have developers working on DWP in Ukraine, in India, in the US. There are some people spread out different places, but I think the main office is in Santa Clara in the Silicon Valley. And we also have some people in Vancouver, which is actually the source of digital workplace, I would say. That's where it comes from originally. So that's our main development areas. I wanted to be a little bit personal, more than you might expect first, but let me talk about me. I have a family with like 13 grandchildren at this time, which is a very good thing to have. And 3 of these grandchildren visited me this summer, and I just want to show you what these girls did while they visited me. So
my name is Sia. My name is Leah. Leah. My name is Tia. We are the best.
So cute girls. I hope everybody enjoyed that. And the reason I play this is that I didn't really do anything to help these girls to get to this video. They have been watching YouTube, TikTok, whatever, and they copied that, and they found out I have an iPad. They took the iPad and they did it. I didn't help them with anything. Oh, I was a cameraman once, but most of it they did on their own. And the reason I want to share this is that I, as an older man, is probably unique in that I'm a techie nerd, because I play with the technology things all the time. But the young generation really does it. They live with it. And when we develop our product, we really need to think about this. How is the young generation going to use our tools, and how are they expecting to work with us? This is important to me, of course, because I work with the product, but for you as customers, we think it's also important to offer your employees or your peers in the company something that is attractive. Since the pandemic, when people join in a new company, they really want to have a good situation with remote work. So they want to work from home. They expect things to be available on the phone, and everything should be quick and easy. So just to introduce that, I put that in place. As I mentioned, I have 13 grandchildren, and when you have that, you really need to think a little bit about the future. And to me, I actually have a t-shirt which is saying, let's make the future come sooner. And with the idea with that t-shirt is that you need to think about how can we make the world better for this new generation. So my one step in that direction is, let's see if I can switch to the next slide or here. So what I have been thinking about is getting a car which is solar driven. This company is developing, it's a startup. They are developing technology to put solar cells all over the car. And the idea is that you can drive back and home from the work if you go to the office with solar sun behind it. It's really the idea to save the environment. And that is another part of our mission, to make sure we support a remote work situation. You shouldn't really need to travel that much. And in everything we do, we try to think about the climate. So that's the reason I put this one up. Now, this one, I have not invested in the company, but it's a crowdsourcing approach. So I have pre-ordered one of these cars, and it required a little bit of money. And to do that, I had to go to our some of our banks, and Nordea, for example, or Handelsbanken are two names I can drop here that are using our products. But to really get a loan from banks, you know what is required. Let me, oh no, I have, let me bring up, to really get a loan from the banks, you need to prove that you are having a job. And therefore, I used my phone when I was on site to pre-book this phone. I went to our HR portal that you can see on the screen on my mobile. And on here, I was thinking, how can I get one of those employment verification letters? So if you look here, this is Digital Workplace, latest release. It has got out of the box content, and down here you can see verification of employment letter in the middle. Can you see that? And this is a service request I can raise from my mobile. And now I clicked on that, and I come to this catalog items. It has a description. It's telling me I can request this letter, and let me press request now. And my fake user is called Paul Bunyan. That's the demo user I'm using. You can see it picked up the employee ID, so I don't really need to enter anything in here. And if I want to include salary information, there is an integration to our HR system, so it can get my salary information in there. I don't need that for buying this car, so instead I just set a date for when I want this to be available to the bank, and I of course want it right away now today. Oh, it didn't pick it up. I was too quick. Now I can just tell, please approve now, because it needs to be approved by someone pretty quickly. Like that, and then I submit the request. And off it goes. So with this, I wanted to just share with you that you can use your mobile, and you can support the young kids that are used to using the mobile. You see this little icon there that is floating on top of everything in the bottom right corner. That is our virtual agent that is placed on here, and he is called, this is an attempt to be funny, he's called Harry, HRRY, because this is a HR portal. Behind the scene, we have IBM Watson, and you can train it to do things automatically. I could have used the chatbot or the virtual agent, as well as just filling the form and clicking submit. But in this case, I did it right away. So that is, now I've raised that request, and if I need to share my computer screen now, I think, here. So let's get back to the full screen share like this. So what I did was I went to that portal, I selected the catalog item, and it opened up the verification letter catalog item, and I filled in the answer to the question, which was only one for the date, and sent it off. Behind the scene, it goes to a manager for approval, and then after a while, I will have the verification letter on my mobile. Now I actually forgot to demo that, but let me show you on my laptop. I think I can do it from here as well. You see, this woman is responsible for approving the request, so that I can see if I go into my activity, and there will be this request, and you can see there is a case behind the scene. This is in our product business workflows that is backing up the HR portal, and I can either reject or approve as the manager. So if I approve, it goes away, and business workflows is generating the document for me. In business workflows, it looks like this. Let's see what I have here. And if I go into this case now, which we created just a few minutes ago, you can see that the document is created for Paul, and down here you can see the details of the request. And what I wanted to show you here is that we have a task list or a task flow behind the scene that is managing this process. So here we have a process, and here you have two options. either you fetch employee data using Workday, that is an HR system. So we are not really trying to replace the HR system, but we are actually integrating with HR systems. Or if you don't have it there, you can have it somewhere else and we can pick it up from there. So this is what happens behind the scene. For Paul, there will be that PDF with the employment letter as well. Where do I have that? It's here, I assume. No, this is Emma, yeah. And here is myself. So let me go back to Emma and show you this, just how it looks. So this I hand over to the bank, and they know I have a job, I have a employee number, and you can see my job role, and it's signed here. This is based on a template, so you as a customer can of course tailor it to your needs. So this was my little introduction to everything, and a little demo of a real world example how the product works today. Once you're done, you can also give feedback in terms of surveys and these normal smileys, so that the backend team knows what's there. So now to 22.1 and what's coming in 22.1.
Kath, can I just stop you for a moment? We've got a couple of questions in the Q&A. If it's okay, if we can answer a few of those, would you mind?
Perfect, let's do that.
Okay, Sebastian, if you could just explain, you were asking about DWP mobile app ? Is that just in general? If you can just type into there so we can get Kath to answer that. And then we've got a question from Helen that said, are self-service guides, knowledge articles available via the mobile app? And that's a question to you, Kath.
Yeah, let me see. DWP mobile app. If I may guess, what you ask is this a mobile app? And the fact is, DWP has since a number of releases back used a progressive web view app, and that one is responsive, and responsive means it adapts to the different devices that you have. If you have a full screen, it will fill the screen. If you have a mobile, it will adapt and it will move things around, so it looks better on the mobile than it does on the web formatting. So we don't really have something you need to install. It runs through the browser and the technology called progressive web apps. There is still a mobile app because on iPhones, Apple doesn't give you support to everything that you have on iPhones. For example, there are device pop-ups. So if you get a notification, you can get the notification from DWP. If you want that to happen on an iPhone, you need to download what we call a wrapper app. It's a small piece of software that's available on App Store. That one will allow you to use pop-ups, QCR codes, and some other things that are specific to iPhones. On Androids, if you use the same app on Androids, you don't need that, and it's enough to create a shortcut on your desktop, and all those pop-ups and things will work as it should. Next question. I hope that answered that question. Are self-service guides, knowledge articles available via the mobile app? I don't know if you noticed, but let me go back then to the previous screen. It doesn't show here on my screenshot, but at the top, there was a search bar. And when you search in that search bar, it goes out and it will retrieve knowledge articles and catalog items and other things you want to search for. You can limit the search to specifically knowledge articles if you like. And as some of you know, or most of you maybe, we acquired a Swedish company. I'm actually in the Stockholm office today. I work from home mostly, but we have had over 60 customers here these 2 days. I've been here in Stockholm for visiting and talking to customers, which is very inspiring. But we also have this development team in Stockholm that we acquired called Come Around. So they are now integrated. So even if you search for knowledge in the DWP mobile app, you can search knowledge articles stored in it's called Helix Knowledge Management by Come Around. That's the name we have for it. So you know it's really Come Around in the background. Mobile version is available from 22.01. Will it work for all type of SRDs? We received some feedback from customers about performance issues on mobile. Okay. It has been available quite a long time back. So yes, it is, but it was available if you have older versions as well. First, it was a native iPhone app and an Android app that you had to download and upgrade and so on. Nowadays, you don't really need to do that. It's progressive web view apps. Performance is not really something I've seen being a problem. If it is performance, I think it is about bandwidth on your internet connection. I mean, if you go on a 3G communication line, mobile line, it would be a bit slow, I think. Do we have more? Yes. What is the next one? I mean, IT articles that are set to external. Yes, when Helene is asking, that is correct. Stefan, can I also get the session? You mean a recording or what? Or the slides that you need to tell me? So even if the PDF is created on the fly with all the fields fill in, yes, it fills in the field. What is filled into the template is something you can change, but it's out of the box. It's filling in the template for you. So yes. What's next? Is DWP catalog available for customers who use DWP basic license? This is a two. I need to answer two things. The question you answer is no. They ask the question, how the question is asked, I have to say no. But if you upgrade to 2102 or later, and you have ITSM, both in SaaS, DWP and ITSM, you get entitlement to use catalog in the SaaS. That's not true for on-prem, but for SaaS it is. And of course, we want to give you a little bit of a carrot to upgrade to Helix. So that's why we're doing that. What else do we have? Will the survey smiley be configurable? It is also two answers. The smileys look like they do. You can't change them, but you can build surveys with questions instead. So it's fully customizable if you want to have question type surveys. So that's possible. Are approvals requested provided in the mobile app? Yes, that is also a pretty big question. The approvals you define for the workflow you define. Should we have approval or not? That's the first step you need to decide. If you say yes, and you are an approver, and you have the mobile app, that I think that is the context we're asking about here. I have a mobile app, I am an approver, can I see the approvals on my mobile? Yes, and if you have that wrapper, or if you have an Android, you will get a pop-up. So whenever something happens, you'll get the pop-up. You will see that you have something to approve. It's really nice, actually. And you can turn that off if you want as a mobile user, but I think it's very good. You can approve immediately. Like for me, when I was there to buy the car, I don't want the approver to wait a day or two. I want the approver to do it right away. Can the search bar be relocated similar to other sections on the catalog for different interfaces? Yes. Dustin, that's no problem. We use the feature that is called DWP Studio nowadays. It was released in 21.3. I guess that the Garage showed that last seminar, and there you can place the search bar wherever you like. I had someone knocking on the door, so I'm just saying hey to them. So yes, you can replace it, you can hide it, you can configure it, and you can do different placements of it, up, down, or wherever in the middle. We are very interested in the request again feature in upcoming versions. Will an end user be able to request again on something submitted by other people? And then request again, then I believe they can only request again. Yeah, that is how it works now. You can submit something for yourself. You can request again for yourself. We also have the feature which is called collaboration. I suspect, I don't know the answer from my head, I need to look into that, but I suspect if you add a collaborator to your request, that means if you have requested this letter and you add the collaborator, that collaborator can see your request and can work on your request and can likely resubmit it afterwards or request it again. I need to check that. I'm not 100% sure. So can we come back to you on that? I'm fine with that. Yes, you can change the fields in the template, creating the PDF. You can pick up whatever you like there. And if you have an integration to Workday, Oracle, or SAP, or whatever is keeping track of your HR information, you can extract information that way.
Kath, do you want to take a bit of a break from the Q&A? We've got obviously a couple of other support people that can answer these for you, and then come back in a bit. Would that make sense?
Yeah, maybe we move on because time is running.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, guys. Still put some questions in the Q&A, and we will, however, if we don't get through them all during this presentation, we will follow up with the Q&A blog on communities after, and I will point you all to that direction as well. So back over to you, Kath.
Yeah. Great. Some of the things I'm talking about in this presentation is still not released. Of legal reasons, we have to tell you that you should keep this to your own information. It's confidential. It shouldn't be shared with our competition, of course, and it shouldn't be shared outside this community. And some of the things might not really happen. We might have even almost completed the development of it, but sometimes we find out that when we really get it there, we can't really release it. It needs another release to be fixed, or we need to redesign it. So don't hold us responsible for delivering exactly what we talk about, what is future. The things I talk about now are 22.1 features, 21 features, 22.1 features, and they are released since about a month, so that's not the problem. The other ones that you got last time is also released, so that's not a problem. When I talk about 22X and 23X, that's when we have future things that might be coming or not. Most likely they are, because I wouldn't talk about them. I wouldn't show you otherwise. And the third thing I want to talk about at the end is communities, because I get so many emails, and Deepak gets so many emails, and in the meetings with customers, we need a registry of all the ideas and the good things that you provide us with so we can improve the product. We need a registry of that, and we use BMC communities for that. And you can go there and you can see if somebody else has added an idea on the topic already. And if they have, please vote on it if you think it's a good idea. And even better, if you comment on what you want to use it for, please do so. Because communities is a way to work together. Now, I'm talking and you have no chance to talk to me, but on the communities, I want to have dialogue with you guys because that is helping Deepak and me to shape the product in the future. We might not respond every day and we might not respond immediately, but we have reports in place that will show us what is coming in every day. I'm looking at the ideas on Mondays and Deepak is looking at the ideas on Thursdays. So we are watching it, even if some people might say there is no response on them. We care about them. Okay, where do we invest when it comes to our products? We have 4 pillars around the BMC Helix platform, and the one we are talking about today is this one to empower the modern workforce. It's the DWP product. It's very much business workflows and knowledge management, I would say, in this pillar. The other ones is about monitoring and also making sure that we have AI-based service management capability in the traditional ITSM platform with some AI capabilities added lately, which are really impressive. If you have a chance, look at that later on. And this one is a focus on line of business. You saw the HR portal. That is a typical example where we have invested also and are investing around providing you with out-of-the-box content that you can start using right away, like the verification letter I demoed to you already. Our mission statement is here. We want to help employees get their job done. Of course, that's our mission. More convenient, intuitive, and effective in a delightful way. And when we say delightful, I mean, we have spent quite a lot of time to make this studio so flexible that you can build intranet-like pages combined with the catalog and information. And that is used by line of business. It's for the individual, and I already got the question about team or others doing things together in a team. Yes, we see that need coming more and more. People want to collaborate, people want to be working as a team. In the office is easy because you can walk over to each other. When you work remote, it's not that easy. So we have plans to improve that a lot in the future. So that's our mission. Our releases, you already heard about the things we released in the 21 releases last year. It was 47 new features, quite many. And I really want you to take a look and see what you can adopt of those. Many of them are giving you more value and are good to have. The 22 one has 14 new features. This one was planned to be released first quarter this year. But instead of releasing this one, our engineering team focused on helping our customers upgrade to 21.3 and make sure that was as pain-free as possible. The reason we do this is that we, in the 21 releases, did a big platform convergence, which is a technology change, and it was a little bit of work to get you up to the new 21.3 release in the SaaS environment because of convergence of the platform, but also convergence of the database and the support for containers for on-prem, and that took a bit of effort. Now we released this one in July, and the 22 one is out. You can get it now, and we plan another release this year, which has got about 15 features in it as well. Plan is to release that before Christmas, so that's why we call it 22X. And then there is another one early next year, first quarter next year, I should say. The target is March, actually. And I'll talk a little bit about that one as well. For those who missed the other seminar, I put the links here to all the webinars that Samantha and the team is publishing. And this is specifically the video of the recording to cover this 21X seminar. 21.3 was big in terms of this studio. It had a lot of customer requests for enhancements. We based it on 89% of the features were based on ideas from communities. Over 30 of them got delivered by this release. So that's just telling you that we are listening. We try to deliver as much as possible. The studio is part of this line of business initiative where you can create different layouts. They don't really look as traditional MyIT or Digital Workplace pages anymore. You have lots of flexibility. If we get time, I could eventually demo a little bit of it, but I'll not do that now if time runs out. Yeah. When it comes to the search bar, somebody asked about the search bar. In the studio, you can drag the search bar onto the screen. You can position it up at the top or in the middle. You can have images behind it, so it pops out a little bit and people see the search bar. And you can put a filter on it, so it's searching only catalog items, for example. The normal global search bar is searching everything, and you get all kinds of things on the same page. If you want to limit that and make it more targeted, you can do that by filtering on it. This is a quick summary of some of the features in 21.3 that I wanted to just remind you of. There is more filtering also. When you drag an event block, we call this, you can put filters, so you can show only approvals on the page, for example. Somebody asked about approvals on the mobile. You could have a specific view into DWP that is only showing approvals on your mobile, because that's where you approve things. A typical example. Down here, the list of ideas behind this filtering capability. 22.1, it's got 14 new features, 61% based on 25 community ideas. The focus has been on self-service. That means we do a shift left. As much as possible can be done by the user himself or herself. As you know, calling the service desk or calling any customer service team is today normally having to wait for 15, 20 minutes or an hour. If you can fix that by searching for a knowledge article, if you can use the virtual agent, if you can get the information without having to wait. That is a big benefit to everybody, and especially the younger generation wants this. They don't really want to have to wait for somebody to support them. I'll do it myself. All the channels, you saw the mobile is as important as everything. I got the question today, how can you support passwords change in DWP? And if you want to use a text message, SMS, on the mobile phone, you can implement that, and I have seen multiple customers doing that. That means if you get locked out from your IT environment, you can send a text message to our virtual agent and it will reset the password for you. Very nice. And it knows who you are because you put the phone number into your people record, the record defining who you are. Line of business is another one. Unified service catalog, ease of administration, platform convergence are also things we invest in. I go through these things pretty quickly. The studio is being invested in a lot, and one thing we added here was the ability to drag a block that is containing assets. So as an end user on your mobile or on your laptop, you can see what equipment or stuff is assigned to you as a person. Those of you who know the CMDB know that there is a relationship used by. So that is one way to tell the system that this laptop or this mobile or this printer is used by this person, and then it will show up on the screen. That has been around for quite some time, but what you can do now is drag such a block onto a page, and you can dedicate a page for your mobiles, for example, or for your printers, and filter on that. When it comes to the properties of a page, we have added a lot of new capabilities. So you can do a dark mode, for example. You can use the branding colors right out of the box, and it will change across all the pages in one step. So that's more the page properties on this feature. In the studio, you could duplicate. You see there is a duplicate item here. Now you can use more traditional copy and paste capability and use the keyboard and so on. So much more efficient when you work in DWP. You can copy between pages, you can copy inside the page. So that's really good. We started last release to create what we call content blocks. So it's a box where you have text or buttons or images and different things. What we didn't add from the start was the ability to have a little link. Now you can add links to anything within the text, and you can jump out from there. In this case, we created you see it saying more. It's a typical thing. You show a little bit of text, and then when you click more, you might move to another page or maybe to a knowledge article. Or like down here, we created small menus like a footer. And when you click on them, it takes you to a catalog item or a knowledge article or something. This one is very much tailored to users of knowledge management. Somebody asked, can you have knowledge articles or guides? That you author in one of our knowledge bases, ideally Helix knowledge management. But if you have Remedy, you know, the Remedy knowledge management, or in the ITSM, there is knowledge base as well. You can use either. And if you as a user read that knowledge article and you search and you don't find the correct one, you get frustrated, right? You don't really get help from these knowledge articles. So now you can link catalog requests to knowledge articles. So when you look at the knowledge article, there will be a possibility to get help from the service desk. So you click here and it takes you to the catalog item, and you have to answer a question or two, and then you send it off and somebody will come back to you and fix it. Or ideally, it's automatic. You can relate one or many here. So you have a list of different things you can do. In this case, it's saying request more help from HR. So this one didn't help. I click here and HR will sooner or later come back to you and tell you what the thing is. This one, I think, is the biggest one for 22.1, according to at least multiple of our customers. You can take a screenshot and you can paste that into the comment field of DWP, and you can have the image there. You can do some text formatting, and when it is received by the agent, you have that image also on the agent side. This release, it works very nice with BWF because it looks exactly the same in BWF as it looks on DWP. And the agent on the BWF side can do the same thing. They can send back images, they can do formatting on the text. 100% same thing back and forth. In ITSM, we didn't get the time to finish that thing. So right now, when you attach an image, it will show up as on the screen here within the field. But when you go over to ITSM, it's going to come as an attachment and the formatting is gone. We are working on fixing that. There was a demo today. I haven't had time to look at it, but the code is complete and we are doing the testing before releasing that feature. Also for ITSM. Another one which is about making it more flexible is that when you have in DWP the feature of appointments, that is, you can book something with people. You can now on that appointment have catalog items as requests. You can have an action, and that is now based on catalog items with workflow. Earlier, it was only available with the old SRM SRDs, and now you can do it with catalog items. That has been requested by quite many customers. And you will be able to create very advanced workflow behind the scene. This one is a first step in a two-step feature. Some customers are really concerned that the end user can cancel the request once it has been submitted. Let's say you order a laptop and the order has really been placed, the laptop on its way, and somebody cancels. We still have to receive the laptop, we still have to pay for it. So some customers really want to be able to cancel it. This is a global cancellation, hiding of the cancel button. There will be no cancel button on any request anymore. The next step will be to be able to manage this in the workflow, so you can, at a certain stage in the workflow, turn off the cancel button. The external portal or self-registration portal is a thing that is pretty new with Digital Workplace. Traditionally, Digital Workplace is for employees, people that have an account in your directory. You manage the password within the company, and access rights and so on are managed for employees. In this case, you can, when you purchase the Helix SaaS solution, you get another URL, which is leading to this portal where you can register with an email and create your own password. for external users. Universities is a typical example where students can create their own account and get a limited catalog to select from. There was among those 60 people today, there was one of the communities here, no, what is called, one of the towns. They are wanting to have this to their inhabitants, the people living in that town, so they can register and get some catalog items they can request after registering. And they also asked, can you reset the password? Yes. Is there a chapter? Yes. It's, can everybody create an account? That is a definition you do behind the scene. If you want to have an approval step before people get a chance to get into the system, you can have that, or you just let them in. The search is sometimes a question mark around how it works in DWP, because we search so many different things. You sometimes get too much information back, and people don't really want to have the OR logic. You know, when you type more words, the more you get back. Some customers want to give the users a different experience and use AND logic. So the more words you type, the more narrow the search will become. This you can now turn on for not only knowledge articles, but also for the catalog items in DWP. This is also true for BWF searches. Another thing where you know that you can show the assets. I mentioned you have a block in Studio that is showing assets. Here is an example of that, where you show an item that is stored in your CMDB. You can now add actions to that, which has been available for quite some time. But what we do now is, if you add custom classes in CMDB, you can actually add actions to that as well. That was not possible before. You only had the out-of-the-box classes that could support actions. I don't know if you saw, yeah, you saw Harry, the little orange guy down in the right corner on the mobile. Before, you could have him available through a button or something on the page, or we had this little icon up here which was a chat icon, and you could reach the virtual agent. But now you can have a floating icon, and you can place it in different corners of the page and so on. So much more flexible to give the users the option to use chat. Especially the young people want chat, I think. They don't really want to browse. They want to tell the agent what they need, and then they want the agent to do it for them, ideally. And this one, this is not really DWP, but it's related. I get quite many questions around the numbering of things in DWP versus numbering in SRM versus numbering in ITSM. This one is part of making that much more transparent. Our recommendation is that whenever you create an incident, make sure to create a catalog request. And now that number that you get, the request ID in DWP is shown on the incident form or work order form or change form on Smart IT, which means the agent can refer to this number. It's number 14 you see here, when talking to the end user, and the end user can also refer to the number. And when you click on this one, the agent can see the questions and the answers given by the user raising the request. This required a customization before, but it's now out of the box in this release. And as I mentioned, let's use communities to share ideas, to discuss the ideas, to improve the ideas. Don't just raise it and leave it and vote on it yourself. Try to get other people to contribute to the idea, so the solution we build is as usable for many people as possible. Those that we consider being usable for many customers are getting higher priority than those are specific for a single customer. We have to do that because there are like 1200 ideas. You see, we have a pretty good input of ideas. This is showing how many ideas come in per quarter. And this is what we have delivered per quarter. And I also have these 4 reports that is showing different KPIs or aspects. So this one is showing the most voted ideas, and this one is showing the newest ideas, and this one is showing the latest updated. So if there is activity on an idea, I can see that as well. And then we have one which is looking at the oldest ideas. Is something happening on those, or are they actually not relevant anymore, maybe? So this I get every Monday, and I use it to monitor the ideas on communities. So that's all I had in terms of slides and plan to talk about. I have the last slide with the timeline again, and then we have a couple of links that is helpful, I hope,